Welcome to Pass It On, Connecting Soul to Soul, a podcast introducing you to courageous souls. These people are taking their spark in life and passing it on, lighting their corner of the world. I'm your host, Tammy Sturr, best-selling author, speaker, and CEO of Author My Day, a company inspiring courage. I interview people about how they exercise their courage muscle and use their story to inspire you to live with a courageous heart. Let's get started with today's guest. Welcome to this episode of Pass It On. We have a special guest today, Hillary Ferris. She is a nurse. She is a mom. She's a community member. She's a wife, and her roles just go on and on. Please welcome to the podcast, Hillary. Hillary, how are you today?
I'm well, and yourself?
I am doing really well. So I have to ask you first to start off, marathons, 5Ks, in the snow. How do you convince yourself to take this road and get out of bed to challenge yourself physically on those days?
Well, too many people have told me that I can't do it, so it's just to prove them wrong.
Nice.
Or that's how it started anyway, was to prove people wrong, and then I enjoyed it. So
Very good. Very good. So what kind of people are you meeting along the way as you're taking on these challenges?
I kind of keep to myself, so not many.
So these are truly for you then.
Yeah,
So, except your hikes. Your hikes, do you usually do those with your family?
with the kid. Yeah, with my family. So
Awesome. So on that note, tell us a little bit about you and where you're coming to us from today.
mom of four. Oh my God, no, mom of two. Um, Rural Nebraska, Central City area. Grew up in Texas. Kind of lived everywhere in the Midwest. Nothing too crazy, nothing too
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. What was it like growing up for you?
Uh, Pretty quiet. Like, I wasn't active in anything, so
And
went
now
to
you
school, went
have
home,
these boys that are active in
everything.
everything. So I don't think you're a soccer mom. So what kind of mom are you?
Oh, we're still fitness center soccer parents, so twice a
Okay.
year we get to do soccer. Let's see, there's football, there's wrestling, cross country, basketball, and track. Not
Wow.
to mention 4-H, FFA, and music lessons.
Wow. I think that's one thing that I think is so neat about watching you and your husband raise the boys because I got to watch them in the 4-H Performing Arts Contest.
Yes.
And so do you want to talk a little bit about those musical lessons? Because it's a little bit non-traditional from what we
Yeah,
see.
my oldest, he plays the violin, and this last summer started taking piano lessons. And my youngest plays the piano. So,
Wow.
and then they both have band, so at school, so they do saxophone and trumpet.
Nice. So Hillary, tell us a little bit about your journey to and your decision to become a nurse.
Well, I've always like helped like take care of, like I was always the mom in my friend group. Um, wasn't until I was in my mid 20s that I realized that that was the line of work I needed to, the direction I needed to go in. So,
Wow. What type
yeah.
of nursing have you done?
I've been nursing home, at clinic, and now school.
And do you have a area that really kind of gets you passionate or
I love
drives
my
you?
old people. I enjoy my current job very much, but I love my old people.
Yeah, a lot of a lot of stories there and a lot of wisdom, I'm sure.
Yes.
So, which now I want to ask you, like I wasn't sure if I get to this question, but you had posted about a book that you had read called The In-Between:
Oh yeah.
Unforgettable Encounters During Life's Final Moments. Did
Yeah.
your work with the elderly inspire you to read that book?
Yeah, kind of. I've sat with many people as they've taken their last breath, and been fortunate to do their postmortem cares. So, uh, if I wasn't in school nursing right now, I think I'd be hospice nurse. So,
Wow, that's a special calling in life. So, what do you strive for in those last moments
mm,
as their caretaker?
like just peaceful.
And I'm sure it's different for each person.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of them aren't very responsive, but just as peaceful as it can be.
Hmm. And how do you support the family that's around there?
A lot of times they're alone, and they when in the nursing home, more often than not, they're alone. So,
Really?
yeah.
I had no idea. I,
So,
I just think that I think of the time that my grandfather-in-law and then when my grandma passed away, um, my grandfather-in-law, we were at the nursing home. With my grandma, we were in the hospital and we were able to be there and knew that time was coming.
mhm.
And the support that the nurse gave us, like that made all the difference in
Yeah,
those final moments.
you know, it's sometimes we're blessed that the families have time to get there, but a lot of times they don't, and so it's us that are there for the final moments.
Wow, how awesome. So, in that book about unforgettable encounters, is there anything that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, she had a chapter where someone had given her advice about life, and she was struggling with an eating disorder at the time, and it was eat the cake. Life is too short, eat the cake. So,
Very cool. Very cool. So, um, I'm going to go a little bit into the mom side of things right now. So, you're raising two boys, not
yep.
to mention all the kids at school that you're interacting and dealing with. What are some things that you're doing in combination or in partnership with your husband? Um, what are you doing, saying, or actions are you taking to raise your boys into courageous men?
Oh, um, making the home life safe to speak their mind so that they are encouraged to speak up when they don't think they're being treated fairly or that they question something, they're encouraged to speak up about that.
Wow. What's the most important thing that you can think of to date that they've really had the courage to speak up about?
Oh, they're disciplined for sure.
Which I can't imagine because I knew your voice. And to me, they're like these states whenever I see them in public. So,
They don't care for some of their discipline, but no, there was Eli didn't want to do 4-H archery anymore, and we told him to give us his reasonings, and he articulated very clearly and effectively his reasonings for not wanting to do that particular activity anymore, and we respected that because he was able to communicate his desires and speak up and advocate for himself.
that is such an important skill. So, and to have the confidence to do it too. How do you get them there then to do that with adults outside of the home?
Lots of encouragement. So we and practice. Like it's like, okay, we can practice together, or if you need us to be nearby, we can do that. But otherwise, just practice and lots of encouragement.
That's interesting. I teach a class called Confidence and Conflict Resolution, and that's
Uh-huh.
one of the things that we do a lot is we role play out when they go in to address that conflict that they're in.
Mhm.
And it just the confidence is just you can see it in the person
Yes.
as they're going forward. Wow. So let's take the students then. When you think about the students and what you're seeing every day, would you say that our society is more like courage is dropping, courage is on the rise, kind of stagnant? Like, where do you
Um,
see
there's
that?
a lot of negative self-talk with the students. So I think building up their self-worth, their self-respect to then be able to be courageous is important. So I do a lot of reminding of no, you're not going to talk like that about yourself. You you will find the positive and then we can work from there. So we do the school system does a lot of great things with like the science fair was yesterday, which was amazing. And the kids have to get up in front of strangers and presenting their science fair project and just that practice is fantastic. So
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Um, when I think about one of the crises that we have in the United States is that we don't have enough people in the school systems to help young people with their positive talk. We're short on guidance counselors, school psychologists, just anybody like that that kind of come in and help this loneliness epidemic that's going on, the negative self-talk. What are one or two things that you can help parents listening or teachers listening to this podcast? What's like one or two exercises that you could give them to do with young people to help with that negative self-talk?
well, I correct it in the moment. Like when a student says something negatively about themselves, I'm like, nope, fix it right now. Like to find, we're gonna reword it. And so we practice how we reword their negativity, but into a where it sounds more positive. On the back of one of my office doors, I have like positive or ways to change your thought process, and just different encouragements. So it's a struggle. The we Central City is amazing. We have fantastic counselors and a school psychologist, but they're just so busy. There's so much going on in our students' lives that we just can't be everywhere at all times.
Right. But you did something very special for them at Christmas time.
I ha I voluntold my husband to do it. I that is the only part I had in it was I made sure my husband was available to participate.
Do you want
So
to tell us about what the school rallied
um,
around and did for the
the
students?
the school put on they every year they do something fun like go to a movie for Christmas. And this year they were going to go see the Polar Express and instead of just walking to the movie theater or taking a simple bus ride, they got some local people to dress up as the conductors and take them on a magic ride. And my husband was one of the conductors. He graciously accepted his assignment that he was given. So
Another courageous move to volunteer your husband what to do.
I do that often.
I don't
So
foresee that very much the other way around though. Like
oh
I've always
no,
seen you
it's
since
a one-way street. Double standard.
whenever I've seen you or whenever we've interacted, because we're in the same community, you have always just have been such a woman of strength. And I've felt that strength around you. And I thought, if anybody could raise only boys, like that's you, because you have that strength and kind of that no nonsense about you.
Hmm.
So, so you've mentioned your husband, which that's one of the big reasons that I invited you on to this podcast and why we're launching it the first week in April. And so on March 9th, 2021, you posted on Facebook, attention, my hero needs a hero of his own. We are in search of a kidney. Tell us about this moment, Hillary.
Well, just that. Needed a kidney, needed it to get out there fast. So what better way to spread something around than Facebook?
Right. And so what had happened leading up to that moment?
Like 15 years prior, we had applied for life insurance and he was denied. So we went through figuring out why. 'Cause, like, why is this healthy 20s, late 20s year old man being denied health life insurance? So, in doing so, we come across his diagnosis that his kidneys weren't where they should function, where they should be, and it was just a watch and see for years. And 15 years later, oh, hey, it's time now. So,
Wow. So do you wish, not that you can change anything, right? But when looking at that process, do you wish like you wouldn't have known? Or are you glad that you did know, especially
no, I'm
having,
glad he did know, because otherwise, he would have, when it was time for the kidney transplant, he was close to death
wow.
and needing either the transplant or to go on dialysis. So, if we had not found out, he potentially would have gone to sleep one day and not won't gotten up. So,
Right. How did you stay strong in supporting him through that health crisis?
what other choice do you have? Just got to do
That says a lot about your values and who you are, that you didn't see it as a choice.
it.
You just saw it as a part of your role in life. I'm sure your love for your husband.
Yeah, I kind of want to keep him around.
And that's a good thing. So,
A little bit
um,
longer. The bills get need
so,
to get paid.
so you guys searched for a while for a kidney, and
We got lucky and it was 3 months.
it was 3 months. And that's not a
Hmm.
while to me. That seems like forever, but
No, that was record time.
wow.
So,
Can you tell us a little bit more what that normally would have looked like?
they say 6 months to 2 years to be looking. With their Facebook post, we had a lot of people nationwide that got tested to see if they could be a donor. Um, we had somebody that was in the works right up until um, one of the many stages, and then they got kicked out. And then it came down to me being a match for somebody else. And so I call it our buy one, get one deal. That I gave a kidney to somebody else so that he could get a kidney. So,
So, talk to me a little bit about that decision, because now you have two parents that are going to be
yes.
going in for surgery. Um, did Justin, which by the way, Justin's Hillary's husband, because I don't think I've mentioned that yet, did he resist this at all? Like, tell us a little bit about
No,
how
there
that
was no
decision comes to be.
no resistance on his part. I mean, I may have or may have not used it against him of like, I can always back out if you don't do the dishes, kind of thing. But the hospital puts you through a rigorous testing prior to. But mine was a day surgery. I was out of the hospital within 2 days, and he stayed for 3 days. So it was there. It's way easier to remove an organ from your body than to put one in. That I've been told. So
Hmm. Personally been told or by the doctor?
both. They're like, yeah, it's no big deal to take it out. We'll have you in and out. No big deal. So
So, so who's the one that brought up the idea first of you doing the buy one get one deal?
the hospital. They said that this is where they found his match, but it's kind of contingent on um somebody I'm a match to somebody else and would I be willing to do it, and it would make the process faster. So, and I'm all about expediting things, so let's get it done.
Wow. And were you familiar with living organ donors before this time?
No, not at all. So it was all new.
So, what was your research like, or what did you find out that would provide some insight to the people listening?
Um, I relied on what the hospital, what the med center said. Didn't really do a lot of independent research, so it was pretty whirlwind. We found out in we asked in March, found out 3 months later, and by June, like I mean, it was quick because uh I might have also dictated when they were going to have surgery because if I was participating, it had to be on my terms of, no, I'm not waiting until you're ready. I'm off school. We'll do it over the summer. So,
Nice. And I'm sure everybody was happy to accommodate because now there's two people's lives.
well, the surgeon, I don't think he really knew what to make of me. But it's like, if you want my kidney, this is when we're doing it. Make it happen. So, but
They are very much used to being in charge.
yeah, I mean, the surgeon might have called me spicy. So, not to my face. He told it to my husband. So,
Oh my gosh. So, obviously we want to encourage other people to consider being so gracious
yeah.
and a gift. So
And
tell us about what it was like for you and your recovery and
um it was pretty, I mean, it's my only surgery to date, was having an organ removed from my body. So I don't have anything else to compare it to. I told the surgeon, go big or go home the first time.
mm,
Um, but it was a simple procedure as far as I know. Like I said, I don't have anything to compare it to. I was in and out of the hospital in 2 days. I if my surgery had been at a different time, I would have been out in less time. So recovery was 2 weeks, no lifting more than 10 pounds. So chores and farm life was difficult, and I wasn't allowed to drive for 2 weeks, but we made do. But other than that, after 2 weeks, I was cleared to return to normal life. And we were showing cattle at the fair a couple weeks later. So
wow. When um when you made that donation to another person, that was kept private, is that correct?
yes, initially. And then afterward, like you don't know who they are until 6 months after you can request your information to be released to them. Um, so I did that, and I've met the gal that got my kidney. I'm actually her second donation. Her first one failed 3 days after, and when she got mine, she had just turned 27 years old, right? Or she turned 27 right after she got my kidney. So, and she'd already had one failed. So, and she's doing well. So,
Wow. So
yeah.
what was that like to have her reach out to you?
It's really nice. She's yeah, just a sweet little young thing, and um, yeah, it's just been married a couple years to her husband, starting a life and going through all of this, and she had to have dialysis and all. So just it was very nice to meet her. So
Wow. And then you were able to meet the donor for your husband.
for Justin, yep. She lives in the same town as Justin's mother, which is a small world. But yep, she, she was helping. Had gotten tested to help somebody else, so and ended up being a match for Justin. So
Wow. So then are there three people that got help?
I think so. If I remember correctly, the gal that got my kidney, her mother donated and gave hers to the family member of the woman that donated to Justin. So big buy one, get one circle. So,
Yeah, it was. And if you
and
had it to do all over again for a family member, would you?
oh yeah, definitely. and in the process, a girlfriend of mine who had gotten tested to donate to Justin was ended up being a match for somebody in Central City.
Really?
So she flew up from Texas to donate just this last year to a local gal here
Hmm.
who's a friend of mine. So just a small world.
Right? A small world that's made for a lot of good long lives for other people.
Yep.
Wow. So if there's somebody that's on the fence and is thinking, I should look in and see if I'm a match, maybe I shouldn't. How will I know I don't need a kidney in the future? What would you say to them?
Well, you've got two, so you can always spare one. If you need one in the future, every person who's a living donor gets automatically bumped to the top of the list, the waiting list. They get priority because you saved somebody else's life, so you get priority if you need your life saved. So that's a bonus. Whether it's timely or not is in God's hands, but um yeah, you got two kidneys. You only need one. So,
You mentioned in God's hands. Where did faith come into these decisions for you?
oh, huge, huge. Lots of praying.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a couple questions I ask all my guests on the podcast. So we're going to get to those. So the first one is, how do you define courage and why does it matter?
I think courage is different for everyone. Um, Facing your fears is important, but a lot of people struggle with that. Um, I think courage is hard to define because it's personal
Mhm.
for everybody. So,
It's decision by decision, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Hillary, what spark do you want to be in the world?
Just to leave a positive impact.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't really think about it.
You're too busy raising a family and working full time. Farm
Yeah.
animals and helping everybody else pursue their dreams.
You know, just to remember me and smile.
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. What will be better in the world because Hillary was here?
Mm. A lot of people wouldn't say anything. I don't know. I don't know.
Can I
You never
answer
thought
that?
of sure.
I think relationships are better because you're here. I think graciousness and giving is better because you're here. And I think the impact you have on showing your courage in donating and just finding the attitude of the buy one, get one. um,
Gotta have joy. You gotta have laughter.
right. And that's something else. What's next for you? What are you chasing? What are you doing? What are you looking forward to?
We're hoping to start building a house here at the farm. That's a little more airtight in the winter time. And then we're calving is starting here in the next couple weeks, so we're having babies. But
Nice.
nothing too fancy out here on the farm.
It's a good life though, isn't it?
Yes, it's a darn good life.
Yeah. I had somebody ask me about me growing up, and I just, those farm memories, the 4-H memories, there was just so much building of family time and
Yeah.
family memories around that. What's one of your favorite memories of being a farm mom, a 4-H mom?
Well, I mean, I yell a lot, so I don't know if there's a good memory. um, I don't know. Helping. with our first calving season last year, actually getting to witness life being born.
Very cool. Very cool. Is there anything else that you want people to know about being a living donor?
Apply, because you never know who you'll be able to save.
And do you know, and I'm asking this because you have a medical background, so I'm like thinking you might know this. Is there anything else people can donate as a living organ donor besides a kidney?
Well, every 6 weeks you can donate blood, and we have a fantastic blood drive at the Merritt County 4-H building. And you can donate bone marrow, plasma, anything that reproduces. Your liver is reproducible. So I believe you could be a partial liver donor. Don't hold me to that. Skin graft, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting that you said skin graft, because you'll get this because you guys raise pigs for your 4-H projects. I had a 4-H'er who was burnt really bad during an internship with the nuclear plant in Omaha. And it was the pig skin that saved his life. And
yeah,
so
pigs are pretty cool.
He did a talk on how a pig the pigs that he showed saved his life.
Yeah, we have a friend who had a porcine heart valve implanted, so that's pig saved our friend's life.
It just is amazing to me, the technological advances, the medical advances that have come along and really helping humans live a fantastic life.
Yes. Lots of cool things in the medical field.
So very cool. Anything else you want to share today?
No.
Well,
not really.
Thank you so much for being my guest.
Yeah.
When I realized that there's a living organ donor day, and I knew there was a way I could tie that in with courage, and immediately you are the person that came to mind. And I just want to thank you for the inspiration that you are for everybody to be courageous.
Well, thank you for the kind words.
Thank you for listening and being inspired to exercise your own courage muscle. Please leave us a rating on whatever platform you are listening. For even more, you can go to www.authormyday.com. Remember, you only have this one life, this one day, so always author your day. Thanks for listening to Pass It On, connecting soul to soul.